Hello everyone, I'm Gemma Star and welcome to another episode of Heart Warriors. This is a series I've been inspired and guided to do thanks to my energetic connection with Kata, which is the sacred masculine site in Central Australia, very close to Uluru, which is the sacred feminine site. It's through this platform that I'm inviting men to come and speak man to man about their journey into the heart. What does that look like? What is masculinity in today's day and age? What are their challenges, their pains, their joys? What tools, practices, insights have they used to overcome the challenges on their path? Today's guest is someone I'm super excited about. His name is Charlie Freak. He is a treasure box of wisdom, knowledge about so many subjects. So I'm really hoping that we can make the most of this hour and a half together, and he will be able to help many of you on your path with his extensive off-planet esoteric and just human knowledge that has been hidden from us for a long time, and we're only just rediscovering now. So my greatest pleasure to welcome to Heart Warriors, Charlie Freak. Ooh. Charlie Freak, welcome to Heart Warriors.
An absolute pleasure to be here, Gemma, and thank you for doing Heart Warriors and taking this topic very, very seriously, because it is a very, very important subject.
Oh, wonderful. Well, do you have the full 90 minutes today?
Yeah. Well, not a minute past with the
Okay. I just want to make sure that we can maximize our precious time together. So can you take us to a point in your childhood, Charlie, that you were faced with some challenges? What was happening, and how did you what did you learn? What did you get from that experience?
Well, I've always been a real child of light. I know it's a self-serving thing to sort of say, but it's the truth. And I had wonderful parents, a wonderful father, wonderful mother. They did their best to play the game. They didn't know a lot else, but what they did, they tried their best, and they cared about family, and they cared about their children. So I was very, very fortunate. But as a young man, I've always just been very, very blessed to while I possess great capacity to understand virtually anything and everything. There's no subject matter that I've ever struggled with. I'm not a deep thinker. I've always just been a child that lives for the moment. And as a young child, I played a lot, and as I grew older, I played a lot. And I was one of those kids that although I was good in school, I disliked school vehemently. It was a waste of time. I knew that right away, and I knew that a lot of things that we were being taught in school just couldn't possibly be true. And so, although I have a good memory, I can stay focused in the now for long periods of time. So I can sort of memorize this garbage, and I could do well on tests. But I always saw school for what it was, which was this device to keep us from what we should be doing, which is just to be out climbing trees and exploring. And really that's what I did. I was a great athlete. I played lots and lots and lots of sports, and I loved to climb. So very, very blessed that my grandmother lived at the foot of a hill in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, called Mount Talmy, and it's about 1,000 feet. And I used to climb it with my sister, who's about my age. and we just had so much fun and just exploring. And so when I was as I was growing up, just being focused and doing whatever I wanted to do. That's a big thing. To understand Charlie Freak, you need to know, for example, that there are no rings, there are no piercings, there's no watch, there's no necklace or jewelry or anything. I can't wear any ties that bind. I've got Christ within me. I've got God within me, and I've got the Sacred Feminine Mother within me, and that's all I need. And so I've never had any desire to, and I can't. When I was young, I think for one of my graduations, something along those lines, I received like a watch or something, and I tried to put it on. And it physically hurt, like to the bone, it physically hurt. And when I got married the first time and put a wedding ring on, it just hurt to the bone. We tried resizing and thought it was these things. I can't wear anything. I have to be free. And that is something that God instilled in all of us, but very, very powerfully in me, this desire to be free, and a desire and a power within me to rebel against anyone or anything that ever attempted to take away my personal freedoms. And so a real pivotal moment for me growing up was the age of 12, which is really significant, right? Because it's a very, very powerful year, because it's the transition out of childhood and into adolescence, and is that period of six to 8 years where we transition from childhood to adulthood is this period where we're transitioning out of the protection, out of the natural Garden of Eden that God places us in energetically, and it transitions us to recognize that what we choose with our free will becomes our reality. And this is why, for everyone listening, take this to heart. This is true, very, very true. This is why people change in their physical appearance, voice, everything, but sometimes dramatically, drastically. Where you look at somebody who was 12, and by the time they're 18, it's like they don't even resemble anything of what they appear to be or look like as a child. And this is that wraithing process, like Professor Tolkien in The Lord of the Rings has the ring wraiths, and they were once men, and Sauron gifted them the 9 rings for mortal men, and they put this binding force of evil of enslavement around them, and they became pulled into the dark world, where they slowly did not possess any free will. They just had only the will of Satan. Sauron is Satan. It's a one-to-one allegory by Tolkien, and so that's that wraithing process that schools are designed to do. They are designed to turn you from right brain, carefree, born free. Libra's at 3 o'clock on the astrological chart, right? So 12 hours in the astrological chart. God came first, 1 o'clock. The Virgin Mother came second at 2 o'clock. We are born free as the wind blows, Libra, at 3 o'clock upon the level, just like our Earth is of course level. It's not a glow ball. If anyone is still thinking that, you're in for a deep shock, that they've been lying to you for approximately 130 years with Einstein. The Earth, of course, has to be level, because level is the truth, and that's what God is. So, so this wraithing process is that's what organized society is, and that's what it does. And so that's why parents are forced to put their kids into the hands of society in so many different facets and aspects. So if you want to play sports, it has to be an organized sports run by parents who never achieved what they wanted to achieve in their lives. And so what they're really interested in micromanaging kids, and then there's certain kids that they like and certain kids that they don't like. Kids rub them the wrong way, and then they play favorites, and they, you know. And so organized sports is just insanity and stupidity, and then school is insanity. And so that's that wraithing process that slowly takes our innocence away, our free will away, our freedom away, our desire, necessity to be free away, our light away, our elevation, our risen nature as children away, and it slowly drags us down into the darkness, into a dark pit. And by the time that you get to 18, 19, whether you're going to university because you need a higher degree to make you smarter, to get a better job and make more money, or you go right into the work world, that's hell on earth. And that's sort of where we're at. And so in my life, at the age of 12, I had that amazing experience where my godparents, who owned a library in Vancouver, they gifted me the entire hardback edition of Professor Tolkien. So it was The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, the authorized biography by Sir Humphrey Carter on Tolkien, and it was incredible. And at the same time, at the age of 12, my mom and dad bought me and they didn't have tons and tons of money, so it was an amazing thing to happen, God. But at the age of 12, I was gifted a little aluminum boat, about 10 feet, that's all. And I had a 9.9 Mercury outboard motor for the little boat, and they trusted me to launch it on the ocean. We live very close to the ocean, and there I spent most of my childhood on the sea of the mother, and being in stillness and silence with the Father. And then that's what I did in my formative years. I didn't have tons of friends, and I was within those books. I was within my albums. I was all of my incredible rock music. That's why I've done all those videos on the greatest, most important rock songs of all time, because it's not rock and roll, it's roll the rock, because they're all of them. Led Zeppelin, Steely Dan, Crosby, Stills and Nash. I mean, just go through the list. Peter Gabriel, Genesis, go through the list. Yes, everyone. And of course, the Aussie bands are incredible. They're just absolutely incredible, the Aussie bands are, with regard to roll the rock music. So it's all talking about God's creation, Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, Sacred Feminine, the journey, the one story, the rising that we have to do. And so that's what I realized, just to encapsulate it and finish it here, is just this, that going from my 12 to 18, my 12 to 19, was a magical, still and silent ride with predominantly the Father in the sky and the Mother upon the sea, and I was learning to become Christ-like inside myself. And so that light that God gifted me inside of myself, and then the steps that He took in my life to help me to be free and stay outside of a whole bunch of friends, and outside of girlfriends, and outside of the distraction out there, is amazing. And so everything in my life has led me to be who I am right now, and to be where I am right now, doing exactly what I'm doing right now. That is an amazing reality that I wish for everyone could be, and know that in the moment that you're precisely where God wanted you to be. You're precisely where you needed to be. And so it's a blessing. And there's very few things that I can't achieve as a result of it. So thanks for being patient with all of that.
Oh, no, thank you, Charlie, for giving us that insight into your childhood, the formative years of the man you are today. And what I'm getting is, for the rest of the time, I'm just going to maybe outline a few things and just give you the platform to have your divine flow and talk as you like. As you know, Charlie, this program, this podcast is about exploring masculinity. What is masculinity today? What are the tools, practices, insights that you can offer men on their journey into the heart? How important is the heart in all of this to integrate with the mind and come into our full potential as men on this, not me, but the men on this planet. So take it away.
Well, this is the thing about school and organized society and filling you with lies and just useless, trivial garbage, instead of that which is true, or which is vastly important, which is the essence of who you are. So the first thing that is absolutely essential to understand is that all of the greatest minds in our story, not his story. We have to get away from him and his and the bullshit of the phallic and the penis raping everything and lying everywhere, and we have to get back to the womb, which is the vagina of the mother, in perfect unison with the phallic of the father, and then that's where we're created, and that's where we have to go back to. And in fact, in meditation, I feel very, very strongly that in meditation, that is where we go back to. We see ourselves going within ourselves, and certainly the magic happens between your two temples, but there's so much of that meditation for me that I know that is happening within the sanctitude of the womb, which is that sacred, hallowed creation by God in each and every womb man. That's what a woman is. They took the B away, and of course nobody recognized it. It's just like Monday is Moon Day, and they took the extra O away, and nobody noticed it. And when you tell people that Monday is Moon Day, they go, "No, Charlie, I don't think it is." Well, in Latin, Monday is lunes, and lunes is the moon. And Tuesday is Martes, and Martes is Mars, and Wednesday is Miércoles, and Miércoles is Mercury, and Thursday is Jueves, and Jueves is Jupiter. So when you cut through the crap of organized English and into the pure core languages like Sanskrit and Proto-European and Proto-Indian and Latin and Greek and all of these wonderful, essential, simple languages of truth, then it explains things in plain sight. So we're always being lied to, and so that is the essential problem for all of us, is that we're never given the core basic things. So first, most important thing is that all of the greatest minds in our history said one thing, which is that you are consciousness having a physical experience. In other words, all this is, and this can be as short or as long as you want it to. You just have to become the master, right? Again, everything is about going from the apprentice to the master. It's mastery, which is wizardry. You become a wizard when you master anything that you're doing, and that takes practice. The more that you practice at anything, the better you get at anything and everything that you do. So if we're only taught trivial things, then we just practice at triviality, and then we can sit on our sofa and pretend we're watching Jeopardy, and what's the lake in South there, the Lake Titicaca, and it's like, well, I'm so smart. I'm just so smart because I got that for 800 on Jeopardy. I mean, it's idiocy. So it all has to start with the truth. And when we know the truth, then you can do what you're born to do, which is we're born to rise. Everything is about 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. That's why Nikola Tesla said, if you understand the sanctitude of 3, 6, and 9, then you can understand the secrets of the universe. 3 o'clock, Libra. 6 o'clock, Capricorn, the great choice. 9 o'clock, Aries, which is just an anagram for arise. And 3 and 9 on the astrological clock, sky clock I call it, the 12-hour sky clock, they're upon the level. 3 and 9 are upon the level. So level means truth. That's why the earth is level. You can say flat, but those are words that they choose so that they're fighting words, so that they're idiot words, right? You know, fall off the edge of the earth and all this stuff. Just like veganism instead of a frugivore. Nobody knows that, you know, everybody knows there's a carnivore. Everybody knows that there's herbivores. Everybody knows that there's omnivores, but nobody has ever even heard of the word frugivore. And when people talk about a healthier diet, you know, the word that they always use is vegetarianism or nobody ever uses the word fruit. Nobody ever. Fruit's 74 in gematria. F is 6, R is 18, U is 21, I is the divine 9, the single eye upon the spine or the pillar, and T is 20. Add them up, 74. Jesus, 74. Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings, 74. Fruit, 74. So nobody ever talks about the word fruit. Nobody knows that frugivore is a reality, right? It's one of the 4 classifications of any of God's species that consume food. There are 4, frugivore being one of them. Please go ahead.
Well, while this is directed to men, can we talk about protein? Because I did watch that show that you brought out about food in the last. You brought out 2 parts, and I know you're doing. Let's talk to men about protein, please.
Well, first off, you don't need much of any protein whatsoever, and secondly, there is not a single animal in the history of history that has ever produced protein. No animal produces protein. That's why all animals consume plants, or those carnivorous animals that consume other animals, they consume animals that consume plants. Just so you know, the only way to live upon this earth physically, in these physical forms, your consciousness having a physical experience, but that doesn't mean that any of this isn't real. It's powerfully real, and heaven is upon earth. So it's the mastery that we'll get into this later about the bodhisattva. The bodhisattva isn't one who rises and disappears into the ether and never comes back for anyone or everything. That would be selfish, and that's unkind, and that's counterproductive. So we would never do that. Kind man returns and shares the experience and stays and becomes a light of the world so that others can see that light and say, I want that light. What is that light? That's God. That's God within you. Waken that connection to God within you. Do the work. That's what Colleen and I always teach. Every single show is about simply doing the work to make that connection to God and become living. Because what is God? God is a God of living, not of the dead. So God created this incredible creation, which is the sun. And the sun, by the way, is S-O-N. It's not S-U-N. You know that because every morning when we're sad because it's been dark all night, that's why they call it mourning, because you're in mourning because you've been without the light of the world. Who is the light of the world? Everybody knows who is referred to as the light of the world. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And then what does the S-O-N do as soon as the break of dawn? It rises. It rises. That's what Jesus did. That's what we're supposed to do. We're born to rise. We're born free at 3 to make the choice between the capricious goat or the corn of Joseph in Egypt, the activating the pineal gland, choosing God by going within for 3 days and 3 nights, December 22nd, 23rd, 24th. How much does God love you? He stopped the night sky for 3 days and 3 nights so that you can get the sacred importance of the Atum. What is Atum? Look at the word Atum. A-U is gold, and T-U-M-N is tomb. It is the golden tomb. So fall is never a bad thing. Don't ever fear falling, because the only thing you can do when you fall is hit the mother, which is the earth. And then what does she do? She's magnetism. Well, all magnetism does is rise, that scalar waves. That's why a scalar wave is called a Tesla wave, because Tesla's experimentation was focused upon magnetism. And we live in this reality where you can get 175 different variations of degrees in college, university, or technical institutes in the world of electricity. Gives a shit. It's a one-trick pony. Electricity, my goodness. And you blow a fuse, and your head's smoking because you're just these electrical beasts running amok upon this earth and raping the earth because you worship the material and not the plane. You worship the material and not the plane. All the material comes from the plane. The plane is the mother. You want to get him, you have to get her. Look at the word together. To get her. You want to get him. If that's the purpose and goal of being here, is to get that reconnection of singularity back to God, then you first have to get her. When all these books come out that have been hidden from us, that were supposed to be in the New Testament of the Bible, all about the teachings, the true whole teachings of Jesus Christ, you will see that he said, taught, lived that the mother is the king of the earth, and that she should be accorded the exact same sanctitude and surrender that we should be giving to God, because it is all about, because it's God's creation. It's a duality. You can't deny that. There's heaven above and hell below. There's the sky above and solid land below. There is the Father, Tiffany blue sky, to heaven the Father above, and then there is the red rocks, you can see right behind you, the red rocks and the red soil of the mother below. She is the blood, the heart. You said it's all about the heart and getting to the heart. There's no way you get to him unless you first go to her. And to get her is together. You have to, John Lennon said it so beautifully on the the Beatles' final album, Abbey Road, where he said, come together right now over me.
How does a man come to enter his heart? How does he do that?
So this is what I was talking about this, there's no truth and no truth taught, and what's taught is trivial and is not the truth. So the single most important thing is to understand, of course, that we are consciousness having a physical experience. So if we're consciousness in this physical form, then what's this physical form for? To rise. And that's why the sacred essential teaching of all of the ancient cultures, all of the mystic cultures and all of the mystic knowledge, and the Gnostics, the Essenes, and the Aryans, and the Aryans are not a white race. These could be any color, but they're light, not white. It's light because they are illuminated. They're in alignment to God. That's the Aryan race. And then to the Atlanteans. So everyone taught and knew that the sacred essence of us is the chakra superhighway. So if you don't get that, if you're just going, okay, that's my priest told me that's hell time and whatever else, and that's on you, that's up to you. But around and around the wheel you're going to go like a hamster until such time that your feeble mind gets off your ass and takes responsibility for yourself. Your consciousness, when we are born into this physical plane, is fallen. Okay, but that's okay, because we fell to the mother, who is if God is perfection, she's grace. So you fall to grace. There's nothing wrong with Princess Grace. She's divine, she's beautiful, she's perfect, because it's the first thing that God created. If 1 o'clock is God, Leo, 2 o'clock is Virgo, Virgin Mother, the Mother Earth. She's perfection because she is the first thing that God created in his own image. So God created himself, which is the physical earth, in his own image, and then that is ruled by the sacred feminine. So when we're in our root Muladhara chakra, it doesn't have to be a terrible, horrible thing. It's a beginning. That's all. And you're surrounded by love because the mother is in the root Muladhara chakra. The beautiful, amazing thing about this journey is that if you decide to go on it, she goes with you, because she's born to rise. And that's why she's magnetism. So we're taught electricity, we're taught all these electricity. There's no university anywhere in the world that will give you a degree in magnetism. Magnetism, as Tesla said, is everything. It's 1,000,000 times, but it's infinitely more. It's infinitely more powerful than electricity. Electricity is a one-trick pony. It does one thing. It's a downward causation. That's what Tesla said. Einstein, creating this ridiculous theory of gravity. He's just using the natural downward causation of electricity inside the firmament, inside the dome, which Tesla understood. The sun and the moon are the exact same size. They do the exact opposite things, and they follow the exact sympathetic path. It's that eternal eight. It's the scalar wave. It's the analemma pattern of the eternal eight. The 14 days you see the moon, she does an S. Mark it in the sky. You can do it yourself. Just mark it in the sky with a piece of paper. Make a line. Find a tree with a branch. Make that marking at the same hour every single day where the moon is in relation to where that branch in the tree is, and you will see that for 14 days she makes a perfect S. And then when you don't see her for 14 days, she returns and makes the reverse S, which is the double sine wave, or a torus field, which is what you are, and that is eternity. And if you want to be eternal, then you have to get in alignment with the Father and the Mother. And their magnetism. You take two magnetic rocks and stick them together like this. Come back 1,000,000 years later, and what are those two rocks doing? They're still sticking together. Guess what? Because magnetism doesn't turn on, and it never turns off. It is. Magnetism is, which is here and now. Electricity is a one-trick pony. It's temporal energy. It comes and it goes, and it's a hothead. It can be, there's lots of it, and then it explodes and blows up, and then you got none of it until you repair all of the lines again within you and out of you, because it's just temperamental, and it's your left brain. And she's your right brain, and God is your right brain, and heaven is your right brain, and the left brain is electrical circuit, and it is. And the right brain is a magnetic field at the center, which is a single dot of white light, which is photon light, which is pure virgin white light, which is God, which is purity, which is virginity, which is you. And that's all you have to do. Walk the path that is straight and narrow. Jesus Christ. What did Jesus come back to say and do? Jesus said, I'm back for one thing. And Nicodemus is going, seriously, dude, you're not here to save us from the Romans? Like, why did you even come? You've got to be saving us for the Romans. He goes, no, if I save you from the Romans, then the Carthaginians will be here next week. If I save you from one of these external enemies because you're distracted and at one another, that you can't see the light of the world and the peace and the power that you possess within you, then somebody else will always reappear. So Jesus said, I'm back for one thing and one thing only, and that's sin. You must be virtuous. And what did I just say? What is the mother? The mother is, if God is perfection, she's grace. And she is caring, compassion, grace. So she is perfection because she's the first creation of the Father. But her perfection is in the endless beauty and the endless care and compassion. What has happened to care and compassion in this world? Where does that chakra exist within you? That is 4 of 7. What is 4 of 7? It's the middle way. It's the way because it's the middle way. So we have to learn the truth. So the truth is that you are consciousness and you must rise. And that there are 7 points within you, and you must uncoil her 3.5 times. I'll get to the sacred significance of why it is 3.5 times and how that dominates the book of Revelation. That's all the book of Revelation is telling you. You either rise to God in heaven in virtue without sin, or you're going to go to hell. And that's on you. And it's not a bad thing. You need it. It's not eternal. It's 1,000 years, whatever symbolically God is saying there, but it's a cooling off period or a heating up period, depending on how you look at it, for you to find your way, because you've lost your way. And the way, which is straight and narrow, is virtuous and kind. And that what is our name? Womankind, which is a woman is a womb. It's a womb, W-O-M-B, man. So we're all man. We're all men, but you are the divine aspect of us, which is grace. And we're supposed to work hard to become perfection. And then men and women coming together are perfection and grace. Just like Father in heaven and Mother on the earth are perfection and grace. That's why we're here. And so that's this chakra superhighway. And so there's 7. So we start in the root Muladhara chakra, which is the base of your the basic form of you. So right down in your just below your sexual organs, so right where your anus is and where the spine ends, at the bottom of your torso, is the root Muladhara chakra, and that is a wheel of energy within you. And if you don't think that that's there, if you think that that's just some, I can't help you. I can't help you. I'm here 24/7, 365, and I never charge a penny to help enlighten you. So when you want to take this seriously, come back and see me, and I'm glad to help for free, anytime. But until you start taking this seriously, that you're more than just this lump of clay that they're molding, by the way, not you, they're molding, because you go to their institutions, you watch their TV and all this other stuff, eat their food, which is not even, don't even get me started. But anyways, we start at the root Muladhara chakra, which is 1, okay? And then we rise to the sexual place, the sexual organs. And right in that place of the sexual organs is called the sacral plexus. Sacral is sacred, plexus is place, sacred place. And then you rise to the sun within you. And I'll elevate for a second here, and that's in your upper abdomen, below your heart, but in your upper abdomen, which is where that intuition, that gut feeling comes from. And that's your solar plexus, which is the place of the sun. And all life, as I'll eventually meander back to protein and all of the great creation of God and tie it all together, is that in the solar plexus is the place of creation, of light within you. So that's a wonderful place to be. And the solar plexus is surrounded by the 12 sympathetic nerve systems within the body. It's always one neo surrounded by the 12. It's always one neo surrounded by the 12. That's why the 6th chakra here, which is supposed to become the 13th cranial nerve, the optic thalamus, the light of the world, which is dark, right? We live in darkness, and you got to do the work to illuminate it. So this that creation, or optic thalamus here, the 6th or the 3rd eye chakra, it's surrounded by the 12, because those are the 12 cranial nerves, and then the sun in the sky is surrounded by the 12 constellations on its great year journey of approximately 26,000 years. Through the 12 constellations. It's always 1 surrounded by 12, which makes 13. And the mother is the letter M, which is the 13th of 26 letters in the alphabet. So she's the letter M, and she's the middle way. And Christ follows the way. He is the way, which is the mother way, which is the middle way, which is magnetism, which is motion, movement. She's movement. God is stillness and silence. So let's do that right now, and then we'll come back to the show in just a sec. Let's just right now go to God Cam. I can do this. We're going to drop into God Cam. I'll just count us down. 3, 2, 1. And this is God in heaven upon earth, and this is God right now. And that's what the Father is. The Father is meditation. He's stillness and silence. That all of this is an eternal thought within his perfect mind. And out of that singularity, that's what singularity means. Out of that singularity of a single perfect thought inside the Father, the Creator, comes everything else. And the first thing He created is the mother. And when you put A and B together, you get C. When you put 1 and 2 together, you get 3. A, B, C, do, re, mi, baby, you and me, father, mother, child. Anytime you put the father and mother together, you're going to get a child. So we are the children of God. We are the sacred children, and we're not acting like it. And so when we learn this process of the Kundalini, and we learn this process of the chakra superhighway, it's a superhighway to ring the golden bell. That's our purpose. So out of the solar plexus, intuition, the place of light where all creation comes out of God's white light from the golden sun that turns the earth green. And that's that miracle of photosynthesis and protoplasm. And then you eat green food because That's living. And then it doesn't always have to just be green, because then a mango is a variation of green, but it comes out looking very much orange. And you know, our passion fruit everywhere is, you know, it's yellow, but inside it's purple, and the flowers are purple, and it's just the most amazing, absolutely amazing thing. So it all comes through this sacred journey that's within us, and that is the middle way. The mother, the heart chakra 4, is right here just above the solar plexus, and that is the middle of a scale. That's why scales are in 7s. Take a look at sound, take a look at color, take a look at all these different scales. They're always in 7s, and the middle of any scale is 4 of 7. And 47 is John, and the inverse of John, which is a shortening of Jesus, or Yeshua, is John. And if you reverse John 47, it's 74. Jesus is 74. So it's always this 4 of 7. It's the middle way. Where will you always find Jesus Christ? Close to your heart, because that's where the mother is, and he is deeply in love with the mother, and equally in love with the Father. And that's the unification of two worlds, two hemispheres, that which is within and that which is without, that which is above, that which is below, left-hand path, right-hand path, blue shift, red shift, and it all comes together in unification, which is your goal if you rise. So that's the mother in the middle, which is motion, and she's the letter M, which is 13 of 26. And if Jesus is, or the sacred child, which we all are, is the 1, Neo, surrounded by the 12. What's 12 plus 1? 13. Why do you think they obfuscate the number 13? Why is the number 13 bad luck and we don't use it anywhere? Because they hate you everywhere, and they're trying to poison your food, and they inject you with their, it's just incredible. They just destroy your mind with the bullshit that they feed you. But they love you when it comes to the number 13. No, they hate you universally. The number 13 is both the sacred child, Jesus Christ, but it's also the sacred mother. And now think of the beauty of this. How many letters in the English alphabet? 26. What is the name that we attribute to the Creator? God. If you do the gematria on the word God, G is 7, O is 15, D is 4, add them up, what do you get? 26. Of course, God is A to Z. A to Z. And so what's halfway of 26? 13. And how do you get, if you have a 13, how do you get 26? 2 13s. Oh my God. So it's all just right there in plain sight that you have a journey to do in this life. And that's why Super Mario Brothers is that journey. You got to go to Bowser in the basement, in the dungeon. You got to defeat the dragon, your left brain ego. You got to defeat the dragon in the dungeon, and then you rescue Princess Peach, and then you race to the top of the castle, and it always shows Mario at the top of the castle. And then that's the alchemical marriage between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. And that is, in the chamber of the bridegroom, which is the last chamber of the third ventricle of your brain. It's just incredible. And that's what they talk about, this alchemical journey to the marriage between gold and silver, between Ida and Pingala, between Kundalini and Kunda Buffer, between sacred masculine and sacred feminine. And they can't get married without a witness, so you're Jehovah's Witness. Get it? You're Jehovah's Witness at this special ceremony between the masculine and feminine within you, the honey and the milk and the honey, the pineal and the pituitary, and the place where the serpent of the pituitary looking in to the serpent of the honey, the pineal, looking in at each other at the optic thalamus, which is the light of the world, which is the child, because the father and mother, they don't take credit for anything. They don't want praise. They don't have egos. They put all of their love and all of their interest upon their children, and we are their children, right? And so that's the sacred significance of this. So when we rise through the mother, there's no other way. It's Jesus and Mary, 13 and 13, looking for God, 26. 13 plus 13 is 26. So when you look at all these nursery rhymes, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. His fleece was white as snow, pure. No sin. Only virtue. Jesus Christ, Buddha, Krishna, Mohammed, Zoroaster, right? It's not just that Jesus is the only one who had the answers. No, God was so loving and so caring that every region on this earth has their Christic figure. Everybody does. They all do. They all do. So it's not unilateral, and you have to be this or no. It's universal. It's all. We're all tied together. We're all connected. So the teachings of Krishna are perfection. The conversation between Krishna and Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita is the greatest thing I've ever read in my life, and I read it and read it and reread it and reread, because you just get wiser and wiser when you read that conversation. And when you look at the Buddha Sutras and the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, they're perfection. There's nothing that the Buddha ever said that I am not in 100% alignment with. And it's the same with Muhammad. It's the same with Zoroaster, who came first. And Christ came last of that group, of that Christic group. And that's what they are. They did the journey. They did the work, and they rose. And that's why they all rose, because that's why you're here. So when we get out of the heart, it's Mary had a little lamb, her fleece, and everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. 13 plus 13 equals 26. Honey and milk equals 26. 26 is God. And that's why Mary had a little lamb. The lamb is the Christic child, is you. And Mary is the mother who's within you, which is the Kundalini. And until you accept this, until you make that the forefront of who you are, and until you spend your day attempting to do this every single day, in every single moment of every single day, that's why you're here, then nothing's going to change for you. And everything is about change, to seek balance. Everything in nature is constant change, looking for what? Balance. That's why you have wind, high pressure, low pressure, right? So the high pressure rushes in to balance the low pressure, and then there's no wind. And it's perfection. It's blue sky. And that's why there's ocean currents, because there's really warm water and there's really cold water. And the currents take the really cold water, and it always finds the really warm water to cool its heels. Magnetism always seeking to balance electricity. And we're the electrical children, right? So that's why Mary had a little lamb. And together you rise. If you choose to do this journey, she goes with you. That's the incredible thing of this. 13 and 13 makes 26. So when you get out of the heart chakra, which is the middle way, the green, that's why the heart chakra is green, because that's why the earth is green, and that's Mother Earth. So it's more than just, so she is physical. She is. And you can, if you put your ear to the ground, you can hear her breathing and respiring. She's alive. She's real. But that's just a part of her. That's only 10% of her. The 90% of her is consciousness, which is what's inside the earth, which is inside of you, because that's where you come from. You have two real parents, and then you have a pair of rents. And I love my mom and dad, but I know that my physical mom and dad are just playing roles in my life. My real father is God, because what you are is consciousness, and only God can create or bestow consciousness. I don't know how to do it. My dad didn't know how to do it. I don't know anything about where it would be and how I would pass this on to anyone. I don't do any of this eternal life business work. I play a role, and then I do my best to love my child. And which we should all do. It's sacred. If you're going to take that on, you better take it darn seriously, because they're the future in the present. So it's just so sacred and so important. And then, the mother, where does all matter come from? Again, what the solidity of us we call matter, M-A-T-T-R. Okay, in Latin, what is the mother? M-A-T-E-R. Get it? Get it? That's the matter. The matter is the mother. So matter, that which is physical, is the mother. And consciousness comes from God. So we are matter. That's what we're told. Everyone is agreed upon that. This physical form is comprised of cells, which are considered to be matter. And that's why our lives do matter. They're important. They very much matter to the mother. And she's 100% invested in our journey and our ride. And she wants us to ride. She wants us to go with her on this sacred journey. So that's the matter, which comes from the mother, the mater, which is mother. And then it goes to the pater. Pater is papa, is father. Mama and papa. Mater, pater. Pitter patter, the pitter patter of little feet. Pi, 3.14, rising, to the pater, to the father. And that's what we're here to do. So we get to the throat chakra, and this is the 5 of 7. And this is the last chakra that is within this really physical form to the spine, because that's where the spine stops. 33 vertebrae. 33 vertebrae. Christ lived for 33 years because it's perfectly symbolic. Now, everyone in the truth community, and forget, the people who are asleep, they don't even know what a Freemason is anyways, but the people in the truth community are almost unified in their hatred for Freemasons. And it's the most insane, idiotic thing. It just shows you how the truth community is completely polluted by the cabal, and that we're basically just taught lies, and then we got some truth, but mostly we just continue to pass their bullshit lies on as well, like, a round, wobbling, spinning, tilting globe ball. Who's the god that the Canaanites worship? Baal, Baal, and we live on a ball. Okay, and all the games are ball games because it's all worship to their god. And what is their god known as? Baal is known as the deceiver. Satan is the deceiver. Baal is the deceiver. And then what is Baal noted for? If you do your own research, the deceiver, Baal, the god of deception, how does he deceive? He takes the truth and turns it upside down. So it's the old 180. It's the old 180 switch, where we live in an upside down world. That which they tell you is the truth is the lie, and that which they make fun of you for being conspiracy theorists is the truth. And then the masses go along with it. That's why democracies don't work. That's why democracies never work. That's why America, which is meant to be the new Jerusalem, which is meant to be the new Atlantis, by the Atlanteans. That was always the plan, America. That's why all the founding fathers were there. The best and the brightest, sacred masculine men were all there at the beginning of America. That's how important America was, because it was supposed to be the second coming of us, of man. And one nation under God. And that's our purpose, and that's what they took away, which is the truth. So when we get to this throat chakra, which is our voice, okay, and the sky's turning blue because the throat chakra is blue, so we're rising in the Tiffany blue sky, we lose this connection to that's all there is the physicality, and then we let go, and that's dying upon the cross. You don't have to physically die. That's it. Christ did it for a reason. Jesus Christ is very real. The physicality of Jesus Christ is very real, but that's not who he is. That's not who he is. That's just a tiny, tiny fraction of who Jesus Christ is. Jesus Christ is Christ consciousness, which is virtue, which is masculine virtue within you. And your mother is pure virtue. She's grace. So she's pure virtue. She's white. That's why she's called the Virgin, because she's virtuous. And that's why the 3 sacred numbers are 11 and 22, 33. 11, because between the 2 temples, your 2 temples, rests God in the mercy seat and that innermost, centermost part of you. Okay? And 22. What's the 22nd letter of the alphabet? The letter V for vagina, which is the physical portal that leads to the pineal gland, which is the metaphysical portal. Mother, father, right? And it's always about the milk rising to the honey, to activate the honey. That's how you get the milk and honey. The milk has to do the work. She has to rise. And she activates the pineal gland, which is an electrical gland, and then it glows in a golden light. Electricity. The bulb is lit inside of your head. That's all the significance of this. So this is this crossing over, the crucifixion, because when you get to the throat chakra, you can't go any further, because while the last vertebrae of the spine, which is known as Atlas, and Atlas, Ayn Rand, what she told us, what has to happen? Atlas has to shrug the weight of the world, right? And just trust in God. Just trust in God. He's got it all. You don't need to be doing any of this. You don't need to be worrying about anything. He'll do it all for you. Seriously. He absolutely will. Seriously. That's how I live my life. Seriously. That's how I've always lived my life, by taking that which only comes from God. Take no thought for your life. Book of Matthew 6, from 6:25, chapter 6, book of Matthew, chapter 6, from verse 25 to the end of the chapter at 34, 5 times, because that's the 5th chakra, 5 times, because you have 5 physical senses here with the 5 chakras in the physical form of you, the torso, and then you have the 2 higher chakras here. This is the 5 loaves of bread, and these are the 2 fish. Jesus fed the multitudes with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, because Jesus fed them with the wisdom, the truth of God, and it satisfied their 5 physical senses and activated their 2 fish. Pisces. Pisces is wisdom, because it's the closest to Aries. And Aries is 9, which is divine, upon the level. And that's what you are. You're a vine. Nobody's taught you that before. And the vine uncoils 3.5 times, just like the milk uncoils 3.5 times, just like the serpent of the mother uncoils, the kundalini and the kunda buffer uncoil 3.5 times within you, because a circle is 360 degrees, right? Every circle is 360 degrees. 3 and 6 is 9. 360 is perfect. And that's what magnetism is. A magnetic field is a circular field, because there's no child left behind. And magnetism goes equally in every single angle, which are angles or angels, which are incredibly real. That's how the miracles of God are all done, through angels. You just can't see them because you have no sight. When you activate this eye, then you see the angels. That's why there are people that say, I've seen angels, I can see the spirit world, because they've activated this to see here. You have 2 eyes to look. You can be tricked by what you look at. This eye is the one eye to see. You have 2 eyes to look, but you only have 1 eye to see. And this eye can't be cheated. This eye can't be lied to, because it is under God. The mercy seat. It literally is. So Satan has no hold when you live here between you 2 temples. Master number is 11, the Father between the 2 temples. 11, which is the letter K, the 11th letter of the alphabet. And then V is 22. And then Y is the 3rd in the symbol for the children, the child. Why is it 33? And why do Freemasons celebrate the crowning of your journey in Freemasonry is to become a 33rd degree Master Mason? Because you have to complete the 33 levels within you. You have to go and do alchemical science, which is real science, to activate this. A 33rd degree Freemason is someone who's activated their pineal gland. That's a Master Mason. And then the light shines within you. The milk and the honey, Joseph and Mary, electricity and magnetism at one, under God. And you're the best man leading the bride up the aisle. An aisle is level. Why would anyone say, why is that associated with marriage, that our job, or the bride is led upon the level of the aisle, but it's up the aisle because we're rising. That's why. And the aisle is your spine to the 4th ventricle, which leads into the 3rd ventricle of your brain. So those are all straight and narrow ways. And so that's who we are. That's why we're here. And so everything is about between 11. And that's why we're 33. And that's why Freemasons are symbolized by the compass and the square, which is to do the work. That just means to do the work, the compass and the square. The square is the physical work, and the compass is the metaphysical work of the inner mind. So showing you the two worlds and the 2 work that you have to do, the left and the right, to get there. And then it's 33 degree Freemasons, is the Master Mason. And it's all about number 33, because we have 33 vertebrae to get out of here and to get here. We have to get out of the 5 loaves. The 5 loaves are going to kill us. That is a physical world, and you have your reality of the physical world and your beliefs of the physical world, and you're going to kill yourself in the physical world if you stay there. But you have to feed the multitudes with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And the 2 fish is what eventually is going to lead you to live forever, because you can live forever in these physical forms. There's absolutely, if God gave you free will and a choice in everything, why is the only thing you have no choice in to live or die? You have no choice. You're just going to die, right? You're just going to die. That's insane. That is the stupidest thing in the world. It's like eating death, killing an animal, and eating its dead, rotting, maggot-infested flesh, tissue, and you think that gives you life? You think that gives you life? And you know, 90% of people who eat meat because they need the protein. Wow! Because not a single animal ever produces protein. All animals get protein by consuming life, which are plants. And if they're carnivores, they consume animals that consume plants, because that's the only way you can get protein. All protein comes from plants. Deal with it. That is the truth. All protein comes from plants. You ever looked at the I'm just trying to think the scale of acidity and alkalinity, the pH scale. So you look at the pH scale at the very bottom, which is acidic, 1 through 14, 7 below, 7 above. You look at the colors, and it tells you everything, right? Because it's all metaphysical, it's all the truth in plain sight. You just have to see it. So when you're at 1, which is just battery acid inside of you, what's the color? Blood red. And then as you rise, it's rising to orange, because that's your sacral plexus chakra. It's rising to yellow, because that's your solar plexus, the sun inside of you, the solar plexus chakra. And then you're rising to the middle way, you know, a pH around 7 in the middle. And then that's why it's green. And that's why it's 7. And then as you begin to rise, what happens to the colors? They go blue. And then as they go blue, they go purple. And then they go magenta, because that's the color of your crown chakra. And you know, you have the blue and the purple and the magenta. And so your pH scale is the same thing. So everything from 7, the heart, 7 above is alkaline, alkalinity. Guess what? You're a frugivore. That means you have to be alkaline. If you're anything but alkaline, you're killing yourself. Why do you think you have cavities in your mouth? Because God's an idiot? God doesn't know how to make teeth? No, he just never thought that you would pour battery acid on your alkaline teeth, which are designed to last forever. And they can heal. All you have to do is go back, Jack, and do it again, and do it right this time, which is to become alkaline, which is to eat plants, living foods. If you want life and health, then you eat life. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. But what do 90-some-odd% of the people on this earth do for their food? Well, they're cowards, because they would never kill an animal themselves. It's just too horrific to do so. And they don't work in slaughterhouses, and they want those. They don't want any windows on slaughterhouses, because they don't want to see inside what happens in slaughterhouses, which is the most disgusting thing that has ever existed, ever. And you're one with that cow, and you're one with that pig. And when they suffer, you're suffering. That's the ether. There's an ether above you. There's a dome. The ether is inside the dome, and all of their screams reverberate off the firmament and come right back down on you to bite you in the ass. That's how this works. That's karma. I don't suffer from karma. I have dharma. Dharma is above. Dharma is alkalinity. Dharma is above the heart chakra. Right? When you live a virtuous life, which is giving unto others in kindness, in charity, then you only get what the rewards associated with that are, which are divine. But if you're living in sin, and if you're out there listening to this, and you know, you're sort of on the fence with it, seriously, first off, again, meat, dairy, and eggs are the most acidic foods that you can have. It's battery acid within you. And that's why everybody's dying, because your cell linings and your organ linings, all the walls of your arterial walls, everything is clogged with a smudge. and over time it turns black. That's the black goo that they like to talk about. The black goo is inside of you. You should listen. Go on YouTube and listen to some of these surgeons that are doing these colonoscopies and that are going inside and looking into these coiled, right? Because, we've got these 18-foot long colons inside of us, but, you want heavy meat, right? If it's 18 feet long, that's insane. You would want only something very light, fibrous, which is fruit, inside of you, because then it'll easily pass. And you put heavy things. So if you look at carnivores, what does their inner world look like? It's short. It's short because it just goes in and out. And by the way, carnivores, they don't eat muscle or tissue or flesh. They lap blood. Carnivores kill and then lap fresh blood. And if they eat anything, they'll eat the organs because the organs are filled with blood. It's only the hyenas. It's only the runt of the litter that picks off of what they can get, which is the flesh that's left behind. So nobody eats flesh except humans. And we're not carnivores, 100%. I've shown this a zillion times. 100% inside and out, we're frugivores. Okay? 100%. And you just do your own research, look at my video, whatever. You're a frugivore, 100%, not 99, not 99.6 or 99.8. No, 100%. You're a frugivore. That's what we are. And frugivores have to be alkaline. And alkalinity are those colors that just happen to be above the green heart chakra. So that's to the throat, that's to the third eye, that's then wearing the crown. So again, when you learn this essential essence, this part of you that is you, which is this chakra superhighway within you, then you know the truth of all things, because that's how the truth works. The truth is connected to everything, because that's what the truth is. It is. Whatever God is. So Colleen and I have no agenda other than to know the truth. That's it. We're beholden to one thing and one thing only. That is the truth. So if a Pop-Tart was good for you, I'd tell you. I don't tell you that a Pop-Tart is good for you because it isn't. It's a processed food. Guess what? Processed food means fake because they have to make from what already exists. Everything in the world of processed foods, and remember, processed foods are dominated by three things: processed flour, processed sugar, processed salt. Processed flour is not flour. Processed sugar is not sugar. Processed salt is not salt. And those three things, more than anything else, are killing you. They are absolute cancer. They are absolute death within you. And virtually everybody only eats processed foods. Where do you go shopping? At a supermarket. Super duper for them, because the real name of a supermarket is a death market. Because nothing, not even the fruits and vegetables that you can buy there, are going to give you life. Because when do they pick their fruits and vegetables? They pick them months before they're ready. They're green. How are you born? You're the fruit of the loom. You're the fruit of the womb. The fruit of the loom is the fruit of the womb. You are the fruit. You are the divine child. You are the highest high. We are the pinnacle of God's creation. And you're the fruit at the end of a vine. Your umbilical cord is a vine. And you only come out at the right moment. And in those last moments, all of the miracle that is God is being passed out from the inner, because God is always within. He's never out. You're going to a church, you're never going to find God out there. Show me one time in the Bible where Jesus Christ ever said to listen to the Pharisees or go to a church. Never. What is a famous passage in Matthew and Luke, what Jesus says, if your understanding of the Bible is equal to that of a Pharisee, then you will never enter into heaven. And where do all people go? Christians, by the boatloads. Where do they all go to? Churches. And Jesus is going, why do you look in the direction of that? So one of the apostles says, Jesus, we just walked into this town. They just got a new temple to God over there. Take a look at it. It's really beautiful. He's going, why do you even cast your glance in that direction? For surely every single one of those bricks will come tumbling down and will be turned to dust. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Oh, they don't teach that part in the Bible. They forgot that part. They forgot. They conveniently forget the truth. And the kingdom of heaven, it's up here. It's up here that ends up back down here. Because as soon as you make it to the top, you go running back to Mama. Mama, look what I got. God gave me a gold medal. Oh, that's great. That's great, my son. I love you. Let's put that on the wall. Now let's go outside and play. Right? So that's the whole thing, is you go from 1 to 7 and back to 4. And 7 plus 4 is 11, which is God between the two temples, and 74 is Jesus. 74 is Jesus. It's all about 7 and 4. It's all about the 7 and 4. That's why there's 7. You go back to the 4. That's the middle way. Jesus is the light. Jesus is the way. That's the middle way of the mother. And what's the Holy Trinity to the Catholics? Let's see. There's God, and there's Jesus, and then there's a masculine spirit. Oh, well, where's the mother? Oh, we have a special day for her in December. We got a day, and we sell this really cool and everything, and we raise money on that day, and it's really cool. So she's got a day, but she's got no place at the table with the big boys, right? Because in the Catholic homosexual church, it's just men are the. It's insane. So they create this Holy Ghost. A ghost is dead. God is the God of the living. There's no such thing as a Holy Ghost. There's a Holy Spirit. And what's the Holy Spirit? The mother, Kundalini rising within you, magnetism, eternal. Magnetism is eternal. That's what the mother is. She's magnetic. That's why Tesla studied only magnetism, because he said electricity is a one-trick pony. Remember all that stuff? So the magnetism uncoils. So I was just saying to this earlier, and then we'll wrap this all up. When the serpent within you rises, she uncoils, because she's twisted into a pretzel. Steely Dan's third album, Pretzel Logic. We're all twisted up in lies. Pretzel Logic, right in the solar plexus. The third album. Every single Steely Dan album was a chakra, right? Asia, their sixth album, which, considered the greatest, maybe, one of the greatest albums of all time. Asia, their sixth album is Ajna. What's Ajna? The third eye chakra. Ajna in Sanskrit is the third eye. Ajna is the third eye. And Ajna spells 26, by the way. God 26, Ajna 26. And Steely Dan's sixth album is Asia. Wow. And the first album is Can't Buy a Thrill. And the first song they ever did is Go Back, Jack, and Do It Again, because you're reeling in the years, stowing away the time, right? It's just, and the second album is Countdown to Ecstasy, Sacral Plexus, Sexual Chakra, and you have to rise, Bodhisattva, the big lead, first song on Steely Dan's second album, Countdown to Bodhisattva, because that's what you have to be, right? I'm going to, sparkle in your China, shine in your Japan, sparkle in your China, Bodhisattva, 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 9 times at the end, Bodhisattva, because that's divinity. That's divinity. And then the first thing the Bodhisattva does is come back to the mother in the middle way. 4 of 7. 74. Jesus, 74. Never going to leave you. Never going to leave you. None of the people that matter are ever going to leave you. Everyone in society is going to fuck you over and leave you on a dead-end street somewhere, which is what most of these truther channels are. Give you a little bit of truth. Drag you in, come on. Give me some money, and I'll give you a little bit of truth. And then I abandon you on a cul-de-sac. And that's what your whole life is just trying to rise, but you get pulled by, the gingerbread house in the forest, and it's a distraction. And you get on these cul-de-sacs your whole life, and you never rise because you're just too busy going sideways. What did Jesus say? Take the path that is straight and narrow. What did George Harrison write? One of Harrison's greatest songs of all time is Be Here Now. Be Here Now, George Harrison. The Beatles, 97. Charlie Freak, 97. Light King, 97. The Chosen, 97. That's your journey is 97. That's why it's Charlie Freak, 97, because that's the journey, the inward journey within you. The Beatles, they're all righteous. They're all good. They're none of them bad. Not even Ringo. They're playing deep cover. They're angels in the darkness of the music industry to teach us the truth. So George Harrison gets out there, gets his own personal recording contract. On his second album, he Living in the Material World. Second album, Living in the Material World. And then his greatest song, one of the greatest songs ever, is Be Here Now. And what does George say in Be Here Now? An unwise mind is a mind that wants to wander round corners. The path is straight and narrow. The path is Jacob's ladder. The curved staircase around the ladder is your spine. 33 rungs, 33 vertebrae. That's why the Freemasons are good. Look at the name, Freemason. Free my son. Free my son. Free the mother's son. Free Mason. The Masons are good. The frickin' truth community tells you that they're evil, and they're the ones that have been fighting for us the entire time. The Masons are connected to the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar swore an oath to protect the bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. If you don't know that, you haven't been living. You're asleep on your feet. Jesus and Mary were lovers. They were married in the most beautiful, perfect sense. And they had children. And that line of children are the ones that are taking back this world for all of us. You heard this term Q, right? The letter Q. And it's, why Q? What's this whole business about Q? Because Q is Christ. Q is 17. 17. It's always 17. All these shows now in the movies, it's 17 everywhere. They're showing you 17. There's a Q. Why is it Q? Because it's QRST. QRST, which is the journey. Q is the rising from the lower world to the higher world. I don't have time to get into it, but trust me on that. The Q is the rising from here to here, from the 5 loaves to the 2 fish. Q. R is for rising. How do we rise? Is the S, like a serpentine, earth, wind, and fire. Serpentine fire within you. The serpent within you. Uncoiling 3.5 times. I'm going to get to that. QRS, to where? To your cross. To your cross. And this is where you must die upon the cross, which is just let go. Just let go. And you take no thought for your life ever, and you just trust in God always. That's what dying upon the cross means. If you want to physically die upon the cross, go have at her. You don't have to. It just means letting go of all of these ridiculous, nonsensical beliefs that, you're only physical and you're going to die at 60 years, and that's, there's no such thing as time. A linear time is agreed upon construct, but, God, who's infinite, makes you live for 60 or 70 years. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you to believe this stuff? So Tom Petty dies at 66, and it's like, well, yeah, it's getting old. 60, he's pretty old. 60. What's wrong with you? Tom Petty, who knows the truth, writing about the truth, writing Freemason, writing all this stuff. Damn the Torpedoes, Full Steam Ahead, his 3rd album, right? The waiting is the hardest part, right? Waiting for the bloodline of Jesus Christ to come back to us is the hardest part. Just wait. Trust in the plan, because it's God's plan, because it's Christ's plan, because it's Christ and Mary Magdalene's plan. It's a 2,000-year-old plan. Show some respect for a 2,000-year-old plan to take down the fucking darkness. That's what the Cabal are. They're just darkness, Canaanites. It's Cain versus Abel. When you hear these people say that it's biblical because it's Cain versus Abel, you know why? Because your left brain, which is only 10% of your brain's capacity, the left brain, which is Egypt, and the ego is the Pharaoh of Egypt, and the right brain is Israel. That's what it is, right? It's all allegories. The left brain are the Canaanites. The right brain are Abel. You are of the bloodline of Abel. Through his brother Seth. You are ready, willing, and able. And they changed the word from A-B-E-L to A-B-L-E. And E-L is light. A is Father, B is the Mother, and E-L is Christ, is the child, is the electrical child that comes to eternity through only the Father and the Mother, uniting the Father and Mother, the A and the B. That's why it's A-B-A-E-L. That's what we are. We're able. Ready, willing, and able. Are you ready, willing, and able to live forever? Because you can. Because you can. You just have to get your head out of your asshole. That's all. Somebody taught you to do these incredible gymnastic aerobics and stick your head up your ass. Pull it out and rise. Rise to the ether and get some purple rain. It'll wash all the shit off. That's why Prince wrote all those songs about rising, all the songs about God, all the songs about purple rain. Divinity. That's what Prince wrote. Michael Jackson. Every song was about rising. And he's telling you the bad guys in plain sight. Billie Jean. The album Thriller is telling you who the Cabal is. Every single song. And he's giving, at the same time, he's giving you what the answer is, which is to rise in kindness and divinity. And Michael Jackson's raping children. What the fuck? Who says that? Canaanites. And what do you believe? What is the truth? Whatever's in the newspaper. Who created the newspapers? Who owns the newspapers? The Canaanites. You're going the wrong way. You're on a highway going 130 miles an hour, and you're going the wrong way. 130 is 13. 13 is Jesus and Mother Mary. Go the right way. Stop going the wrong way. The wrong way is hell. You're going down. You're going the wrong way. Everything that you've been taught to do is upside down. Reverse it and go the right way instead of the wrong way. You can't become alkaline by eating acidic meat, dairy, and eggs. And you can't become alkaline and live forever if you're eating processed foods, which are acidic. You're just going to die. You can't get, and this is 5 years ago when Colleen and I started, basic message we said to you. You all want to live and you want to be healthy and happy. You can't live, you can't have health, and you can't be happy if you're eating death. It's that simple. You want life, but you're eating death. And you're okay with the system that rapes. So we're over 2 trillion sentient creations of God a year. A year. We are force breeding 2 trillion. And if we get the wrong species, like in pigs and chickens, we get the wrong species, guess what they do? Kill them right away. But that doesn't matter because the chicken doesn't matter, right? It's not real, or I don't know if it doesn't matter. It's just a chicken, right? I mean, oh my God, that's called karma. I live in dharma. Karma is the righteous. It's totally fair. It's not a punishment. It's totally fair. Karma is what you earn, and it's below the mother. So when you have karma, it's because you live down here. You live down here. Your energy is so low and so negative, you're not even close to the mother. And that's karma. So all the shit that happens in your life, it's not a punishment. It's righteous. You create shit, you get shit. You create problems, you get problems. You create hell, you get hell. But if you do better, if you try, God loves a trier. God loves a trier. Even if you do better, once you know better, do better. Once you know better, do better. Once you know and you do better, then you get out of karma and you get dharma. What's dharma? When you produce light, you get light. When you produce kindness, you get kindness. When you produce love, you get love. Where's love? Where's kindness? Where's generosity? Right here, the heart. 4 of 7, 47, in verse 74, Jesus. Right? And the Bodhisattva, which is he who wears the crown because you've rung the golden bell of the pineal gland, and then the magnetic magenta, a lot like magnetism, right? Magenta, magnetic crown upon your head. What's the first thing that the Bodhisattva does? He doesn't go, nah, 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 I'm better than you, or I'm up here and you're down there. Nope, the first thing the Bodhisattva does, he goes, whoop, right back to the mother. And he says, Mom, look what God gave me. I got a gold medal. I got a gold medal at the Olympics. You know why gold medal at the Olympics? Because Mount Olympus is here. That's Mount Olympus. And the gold medal is God, because you're a creditor, not a debtor. That's why Jesus teaches creditors and debtors. You never go into debt. Sinning is debt. Virtue is credits, and you just keep adding them up. That's dharma. That's dharma. And it's like you got so many credits. It's like you know, those great teachers who love to teach, and they got these sick days, 2.5 sick days every single month, and they never took a sick day in 15 years of teaching because they love to teach, because they love kids, and they're there every single day busting their asses, and they've got like 400 sick days built up because they never take a sick day because they love their job, they love kids, and they're there all the time. They could take an entire year off. They've got, that's credit. That's how it works. That's how you work when you do righteousness, when you cast thy net to the right. Jesus said to the fisherman, you're a fisher of men. That's what you are. You're a fisherman. And you can choose to feed yourself for a day, or you can feed yourself for an eternity. It's your choice. Feed yourself for a day, cast that line out of the left hemisphere of your brain, which is Egypt. And it's ruled over by the Pharaoh, which is your ego. And you're just a slave to your ego. Or cast thy net to the right, Pisces, catch those fish. Pisces, because that's right next to Aries, and Aries rises. 3, 6, and 9, right? And so it's rising. And that's what this is all about. What's the top of the sky clock? What's the top of the astrological sky clock? At the top of the hour, the bell tolls 12. What's 12? Cancer. Why is Cancer? Because it's 69, dude. 69, dude. Masculine, feminine, in perfect love and alignment with each other. Men of this world, We've all fallen, women included, we've all fallen, but we have dragged the women down to our level. And all they want to do is pull us up to their level. Think about this. You cannot argue with this. In the year 2020, when all this truth started to come out, and Colleen and I, we had going on 1 million subscribers on our YouTube channel when they took us down, it was just dominated by women. Right? Because it's all about the children. It's all about the children. What are they doing to the... Exactly, because they don't want to raise inside. They don't want milk and honey. They don't want Israel. They want Egypt. They don't want to do the divine work. But they need that blood, so then they take it from that which is the purest of us. And then this is where you get into hospitals and why they have to own and control hospitals. Because it's all about abortion. Why abortion, 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 abortion? They weren't killing those kids. That's the top bloodline because they haven't even come out yet. They're still so clean. And then that blood is clean. And that's what they're doing. So it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. You ever watch that movie? It's the truth. It's the truth in plain sight. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. A stupid movie, right? Just stupid. No, it's the truth. That's what Abraham Lincoln was. That's why he swung an axe. That's why his axe was silver. Silver. What was Judas paid? Judas was righteous, by the way. Judas did this and he didn't want to betray God. But he had to betray Jesus because that was the plan. That was the plan. I'm going to finish with this QRST thing here and I'll blow you away with that. But Judas is righteous. Judas was part of the plan. Judas did not want to betray God, but Jesus made him swear to him that he would turn him in. And why the significance of the 30 silver pennies, the 30 silver coins to Judas, and then Judas flung the 30 coins right back at the Canaanites. Why is that silver? Why is that significant? Because silver is their kryptonite. Silver is their anathema. Why is the price of gold just skyrocket? Why is silver ever just so cheap? And yet, silver is more valuable in terms of technology and mechanics and machinery. Silver appears everywhere. We use silver. The price of silver should be more than gold, but it isn't because silver is the feminine, is the mother, and they hate the mother. That's why we live in this sick, disgusting, grimy, filthy world of a penis. Because they hate the mother. That's why. That's why. So, QRST. So, just remember that about Judas. Hated forever, right? Really good guy. It's called deep cover. You can't defeat the enemy unless you know what the enemy's up to. You need deep cover. So, why Q? Because Q is this transformation from the lower 5 loaves of bread to the 2 fish, the higher. It's the crossing over. Q is crossing over. R is to rise. The letter R is rising. How do we rise? S. That's the serpent uncoiling. And then we rise to the T, R cross, the physicality. And then we let go of our physical form and we say, nope, I'm not going to take thought today, as Jesus said. I'm going to trust. Because God is going to put what I need to do in my head exactly when I need to do it. What does Gandalf say in The Lord of the Rings? Frodo Baggins, a wizard is never late. A wizard arrives precisely when he means to. Exactly. What's a wizard? You as the master. You're always right on time, because righteousness is always right on time. And so that's getting off the cross. And now, if you add those letters up, QRST, Q17, R18, S19, T20. Add them up. What do they add up to? 74. Jesus 74, QRST 74. Now, phonetically, how do you pronounce QRST? Try it. Christ. 74, QRST, which is the journey of man. QRST is the journey of man to here. The light of the world, the optic thalamus, the light of the world, so that you will do greater things than Jesus. Jesus said, you will do greater things than I, because you will climb on his shoulders and you will rise to here. You will do greater things than Jesus. I don't even know how that's possible. That's what he said. That's you rising to here, becoming the light of the world, the lighthouse. That's you, risen inside of you. That's all you're here for. It's all you have to do. It's all God asks you to do, is to be the lighthouse. So, in Q tells you who's the Q team, who are the good guys, who's taking down evil. It's the bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. QRST 74, Jesus 74. Phonetically, QRST, Christ. Yeah, it's Jesus Christ. There you go. It's Jesus Christ. He had a plan. Yeah, he had to go. Trust in that plan. Trust in that plan. It's divine, just like you're divine. But you trust in all the wrong things. And so the last thing that I'll say before I pass it back over to you is this. Why the uncoiling 3.5 times? Because every circle is 360 degrees. And there are 3 full turns, which are 3 360s. Okay? 360 times 3 is 1080, which is, TV's 1080p by 720p, right? So that's 9, which is most high, right? Because 1 and 8 is 9, and 7 and 2 is 9, and that's why the best you can get on a TV is 1080p by 720. Wow. So it's all about this, but you uncoil a half turn, because the 3 take you to here, to the blood-brain barrier, and then you have to cross over to the right. Everything is to the right. You have to go through the blood-brain barrier, which is to the right, and then you go back into the brain stem at the hypoglossal opening, where there's an olive above and a pyramid below. I'm not making this up. At the opening of the brain stem, the hypoglossal opening, you go into Gray's Anatomy and all of the medical encyclopedias. They'll show you the hypoglossal opening, and above the hypoglossal, it's all like they don't know why. They don't know why, but there's an olive above the Mount of Olives, right? Get it? And then there's a pyramid, Egypt, Pharaoh, below. So you want to go up, you want to rise, you want to go up to the Mount of Olives. Jesus in every chapter ends by going in to the Mount of Olives. Yep, that's it. Going back in, crossing over, he died upon a cross, and crossed back in to the brainstem at the hypoglossal, and went into the Mount of Olives, meditation, and rose to the very innermost, centermost part of us, which is the optic thalamus. But to get there, the half turn is to illuminate the pineal gland. It's all about the pineal gland. It's all about, that's the light inside of your head, and that's what has to be lit. And so that's the half turn. What's half of 360? 180, right? Okay, so 3 360s is 1080. What's 1080 plus 180? 1260. 1 plus 2 plus 6 is 9, because you are divine. That's the journey. Now, in the book of Revelation, do it for yourself. You should be reading it every week. Book of Matthew, you should be reading it every single week. Never stop reading these higher truth gospels that are there, right? Matthew, Luke, Revelations. Keep reading them, because the truth of all truth is in those books. They didn't fiddle around with those, because they're so sophisticated. They're so complex in terms of the truth, which they know nothing of. They couldn't alter these books. That's why they're so divine. So you should be reading them. In the book of Revelation is dominated by 2 numbers, and nobody seems to know what they're there for. The number 42 and the number 1260. And it plays out in this one beautiful little parable in the book of Revelation, where a woman flees the city and runs for 42 days east into the wilderness, right hemisphere of your brain, runs into the wilderness for 42 days, and there in the midst of a forest she finds a house that God created for her, and she enters into the house, and for 1260 days takes nothing from the hand of man. Do you get it? Do you get it? It's Kundalini rising. It's the chakra system. It's the superhighway. It's the physical running at high speed for 42. 42 are the perfect bloodlines from Abraham to Jesus Christ, the 314s. Abraham to King David to the rise of Babylon, and then from the height of Babylon to Jesus Christ. 314s, 14, 14, 14, 42. So that is purity. That is divinity. 42. Okay? And 42 to 1260. And for 1260 days takes nothing but the nourishment of God. That's casting your net to the right. That's physical. Running to the metaphysical. That's the feminine running to the Father, the mater to the pater. And the pitter-patter of little feet will soon follow, because the mater ran to the You just don't know how to read. You know Rockefeller English. You know Rothschild English. You don't know God's language. God's language is symbols. God's language is letters. God's language is numbers. God's messagery is in symbols, but it's in gematria, simple gematria, where A is 1 and Z is 26. QRST, 74. Jesus, 74. Fruit, 74. It's so simple. You've just been lied to about everything. It's not your fault. I don't make fun of you or anyone ever. I don't make fun of myself when I was getting things the wrong way. At least I had the wisdom to want better, to try harder, and to do better in this life. And if you just do those things, if you just really, really try to just, even if you don't believe in God, but you do believe in the Mother Earth, then run to her. She'll do the rest. Put yourself in alignment to the Mother. Men, women are the higher form of us. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They're grace. Be perfection. Be perfection to her grace. Be perfect for her. You're here for one reason. Balance. Balance. That's why there's wind. That's why there's ocean currents. That's why there's movement. Because everything is attempting to achieve homeostasis, which is balance. Left shift, right shift. Red, blue, feminine, masculine, in, out, above, below. Everything is just seeking balance. That's why the number 8 is so important. That's why magnetism is the way. That's why Jesus Christ did everything through that Lamb of Mary. He's the Lamb of Mary. Because that's 13 and 13 to 26 God. That's why the number 8. That's why the sun and the moon make the number 8 pattern. It's eternal. And you can become eternal in these silly, silly physical forms. We drink beer and care about which football team won a game or something like this. Like none of that matters. None of that matters. Is there a child suffering somewhere? Is there an animal suffering somewhere? If there is, I can't sleep. If there is, I got to do something about it. It's just the way that God made me. But He made you the same way. You've just been tricked. It's Halloween every day, and it's a trick or treat. The treat is righteousness. Casting thy net to the right is divinity, is kindness. And the trick is the lie. And that's how they got you. They got you by the balls. The game is rigged. The table is tilted. Sorry to be the one to tell you, but the moment that you change, you find out that that table and their house that they put you in is a house of cards. And that table will upset, just like Jesus went into the temple of the money changers and upset the tables. He's turning the tables. He's turning the tables, which is turning lies into truth. And that's what's coming. That's what's coming, the truth. And at least have the grace to know that those who have been doing this behind the scenes are the bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. And that those that swore to protect them, the Knights Templar, are good. Freemasons are good. That's all they do, is they teach the truth, and they try their entire lives to become a 33rd degree Master Mason, which is activating. So they're alchemists. Freemasons are alchemists. They're rising the serpent 1260, 3.5 times, 1260. And then there it is in the last book of the Bible. There it is, 42 and 1260. It's right there in plain sight. And you know why Professor Tolkien in The Hobbit, he writes about Smaug the dragon and the Lonely Mountain? This is your Lonely Mountain. The empty Holy Trinity. It's supposed to be Father, Mother, Child inside of you. And all there is a dragon. And so what does Tolkien call that chapter? He calls that the desolation of Smaug. The desolation of Smaug when we meet this dragon. What does the book of Revelation say when it opens? Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is all about the sucking off the tit of the Babylon whore. And it's all about that. And it's all about what? What's that phrase? The abomination of the desolation. You know what that means? The abomination of the desolation? You let a dragon into heaven on earth. You let the ego run you. And it's divine. This is heaven on earth. Your head is heaven on earth. And instead of silencing your mind through meditation and listening to Jesus Christ and taking no thought for your life, you listen to everything that they've ever told you. And I'm sorry, but they've told you only lies. And not mostly lies, all lies. Because the truth is unified to everything else. They can't give you a single truth. The earth is not a globe ball. It's not round, it's not spinning, it's never moved. The earth is still and stationary like God is still and stationary. It has to be. They can't give you a single strand of truth. Because if they did, you could climb out of hell and then you could connect everything together, because that's what the truth does. It's holistic. It ties everything together. One truth leads to all truth because it's the truth. Everything is a lie because it has to be that way. And that's why Colleen and I are here, barely sleeping, running our animal rescue sanctuary. I don't know how many we have now, but it's perfect. It's perfect. And we're tired, but we live in Dharma. And that's right. I don't know if it's the right or, we're not better than anybody else, but I know what we're doing is right. And that's all you have to be, is on the right-hand side of things. So I thank you so much for listening to this crazy crackpot, CC 33, Charlie Freak. Thank you for listening, and I love you. And Gemma, I love you, and I love you for what you do and what you stand up for and what you represent and how patient you are with men when you know so much. Love you very much, and thank you for having me on this wonderful, wonderful podcast.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Charlie, just before you go, where can people find you and how can people help your animal sanctuary?
You can help us through love, and that's the ultimate currency. So you can meditate to our animals. If you go to any one of our videos, we're blocked everywhere. So we just opened back up on Facebook because they blocked us for a long time. But that's why it's Colleen Kylo. So if you go Colleen, Kylo, Kyllo, Colleen Kylo, which is Colleen's name.
I'll put the link in the description. Yeah.
And then so that's the Facebook, and periodically I put the link to helping us or whatever, and we always have updates on the animals and pictures. It's so awesome. And then the only other place that we exist is on Rumble. Rumble isn't great, but at least they haven't taken us down. So on Rumble, it's Charlie Freak, all one word. Charlie Freak, all one word, and you'll find the channel. All of our videos are there. There's thousands of videos and
the link, yep.
Yeah, and so it's there. And on all the show notes to each and every single one of the videos, there's always a link. So we do, because it's hard to get money to Mexico because of the cartels. They make it very difficult to bring US dollars into Mexico. So PayPal, unfortunately or unfortunately, PayPal works to Mexico. So, but let me just say this about helping us. Only if you can afford it. So choose an amount. If you want to help, choose an amount that you won't even think about. Okay? Colleen and I, if you're sweating or worrying or stressing to help us, then you don't know who Colleen and I are, because that's not what we want for you. We want you to be calm. We want you to be grounded. We want you to be centered. Grounded, mother, centered, heart chakra. It's all about the mother. It's all about the mother. It's the only way to find the father is through the mother. So that's what we're all about. And if you want to help, that's great. If you want to send a meditation that helps too. It's the ultimate currency, the ultimate credit. So yeah. And like I said, when you tell the truth, you're blocked, and we are massively blocked. You can't get Charlie Freak on anything. They just, as soon as you use Freak Sense or Charlie Freak, they block it. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Thank you so much, Charlie, and my love to you and Colleen, and thank you for your service to humanity and animals and everything that you do. I'll put all your links below, and many blessings to you both.
You as well. Thank you very much. And in the future, you know, you might need 5-10 years to get past this show, but in the future, if you want to have me back, I'll always say yes, Gemma, always. So love you very much, and thank you very, very much. And to all of you out there, I love you so much. You've got friends. You may not feel like it, or you may not think it sometimes, but you've got friends. You always do, and you always will.
My little guy here. You saw your little guy. Oh. you can't see because of the screen, but yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
20 plus dogs, 20 plus cats, and goats and pigs and chickens and all the rest of it. So it's awesome.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Charlie, so very much. Bye to everyone, and I'll be back in a couple of days with another episode of Heart Warriors.